All right, so finish the floor off a little bit. We can run up and down in there, and there's a couple little things I want to do to change some of the tiling. I'm not going to build windows yet. I will do that in Max. Go up to the floor, so it looks good. The problem is, let's see if I can find one. Let's probably just go right by the edge. It's minor, but when you get to the point of looking at video games, sometimes the tiling just shows up so blatantly that it's hard to miss. Also, I deleted the terrain that I had, the terrain material, actually, not the terrain. So, actually, we are going to be starting from scratch for the terrain anyway. So, money, it's not that hard. It's just a real simple, it's a texture set of things. And I'm going to put them in a different, I need to organize them a little bit. Let's get out of here real quick. Stairs work well. Yay. All right, so stop. Cool. All right. I want to definitely build pieces that fit for the floors like these do. But since these are square, based off the square that I have on here already, it's not going to be too difficult. I did register an interesting dilemma. That is probably either about half of one of my base walls length, because this is 3 and 3 and this is 4 and 4. So I gotta fix that. That's no big deal. Again, when I make a custom piece, I'll probably do something that'll add to it. Maybe make that a back deck or overhang, and maybe even add an awning type, angled type of roof or tent or something. You know, just play with it, kind of figure out how to hide it. This building right here will not work exactly right there on this situation. If I go up here and just slap it on here, which is what I work on, I mean, I can do it. Yes, it's not wrong. It's not bad. I can do it. But on the other note, there's definitely one size of wall that I need to make, which is basically a half of the base wall. I don't want to scale it because it will affect the UVs and how the texture renders. You know, like, it looks fine when you look at the actual texture by itself, and then you see the same texture again, you kind of see an issue. I got to put a pillar on there, which would be no big deal. So yeah, technically, I can go into a second story, and I will make variations of this exact same house so that it'll become more usable. But as it stands, the tile, I'll put some lights in here in the prefab. The tile is working great as a floor, so nice. All right, so what I want to do is actually get all these things kind of put into a house. I don't know if I'm going to make a prefab out of that. I totally can make a prefab out of that, but I have to replace all these cubes. I may just, yeah, you know what? I will. I'm just going to throw it into the house. Where's the house? Did I make the house? I didn't make the house, did I? There's the house prefab. Cool. Well, actually, I'll have to actually import it into the prefab, so I'll worry about that in a little bit and rebuild it later. What's next? Well, yeah, let's do the train since I got to rebuild it anyway. So I'm going to get rid of these guys, and we'll talk about that in a second. All right, so I have 4 textures that I built in Photoshop. They're tileable stuff. I just kind of slapped some ground textures. I've got better ones. I went actually hiking and biking around my house this morning and took some photos in the hike and bike trail. I don't really know if I need this one per se. I don't know if I need this one. I definitely don't need this one, so I'm going to delete that. So what I have is Dirt 2. I don't need Ground 1 either. Okay, so we got Dirt 2, Albedo, Dirt 2, Normal, and Grassish mix, and then Pure Grass. And each one has normal map, and that's all you need for the terrain. So we'll click in here on the terrain itself, go to the paint, and we're going to do this paint texture. It's going to look for things here. So what we need to do is edit terrain layers, and if we go in here and add layer, we don't have anything selected, so let's close that. We can do a create layer from here. So let's grab our ground 02 texture. grab that. If I click on here, edit, let's see what we can do here. Boom. New layer, so let's open that up. There we go. So normal map. I don't have a mask map. I'll have to look that up. So ground normal. Boom, boom. Okay, so now there's our first layer. But I can rename it. I wonder where. I'll have to figure out where I put it so I can rename it. Let's see. Open. New layer. That's it. Huh. We'll play around with that. Alright, so click on that, go back into here. I start painting, and now there's our ground texture. And so you can see the tiling already bad. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and add a new one. Let's go back into here. Let's see. I wonder where I put it. Did I put it here? Did not. Materials. Did not. I'm not sure where I put it. Layer. That's what it is. Okay. So that's what it is. So what it is it's a terrain layer. Let's call this dirt 1. Actually, what I'm going to say is layer L round 01. And that'll make it generic. No matter what I do in here, I can use this one and just change the actual texture set in here. But that L means layer. So let's go in here and let's create, I'm going to right click in here, create, and it's down here, where are you? Terrain layer. So this is basically a paint layer. And so it's just painting pixels onto the space. So here's the new terrain layer. Let's name it L underscore ground 02. Alright, so let's select the actual map and we'll go to the mix one, hit OK, we'll just double click there, yep. And then go click there. I'll look up the mask and get an idea about that. I have a feeling what it will do is if I'm having something like this kind of texture, and allow me to layer things up and create different variations of patterns. I'm not sure how many terrain layers I can create. I hope a bunch. I mean, I can create as many as I want, I would imagine. But how many I can use on a single terrain, I'm not sure how many I can throw on there. That's definitely worth looking into. Let's see. L ground 03. And this will be grass. And I'm going to change one of these, probably the actual mix, and make it a rock texture. And really what I'll end up doing is changing ground 1 into a rock, ground 2 into the actual dirt, and then ground 3 is the grass. And that'll be the basic buildup. In Unreal, you only get 3 texture slots. So in this, in Unity, we seem to get a lot more, because what I can do now is add layer slots. I would just add that one, and then add layer. Got that. So add layer. Ground. Sweet. So now I can paint and do the same thing with any other brush. The tile breaks up a little bit better when you're lower on the ground. I'll do some research and figure out how many terrain layers we can do. But the idea would be to actually have things like when you go into a raise or lower, I'm going to change the opacity down a lot. I'll get some up here. Oopsie. I'm going to go and smooth the top part of it. And then what I can do when I go to paint, make that all grassy up there. I'll make this all dirt. I'm going to change the size, make that all dirt. Probably change the opacity up. I think it only goes like 1%, but I would like to see if the mask could do some color changes and variations. Even with only a few textures, you can still get a lot of actual fun action out of it. The things that I would suggest is to get variations of each texture and push it to the limit because, you know, it's more fun if you break it. You learn more. Always save iteratively, always save often. Alright, so let's go walk around in our new space. No pause. There we go, sweet. Alright, so now we're working in dirt. Look at that. Looks like it's freshly ground soil. It's like a work site. So clean and ready to get built upon. Let's go get farms and pigs and chickens and oh look, grassy knoll. How nice. And there's a transition. These are 1024 by 1024 each. I literally could make these 512 by 512, make the actual texture size bigger, making the textile strength bigger. And therefore I could probably get bigger patterns out of it instead of these smaller ones. I'm going to play around with the terrain size. So if I go into here, get out of that. There we go. Boop, boop. So W, click on the terrain. I'm going to go to the gear, and I'm going to play around with what textures do with these guys in that particular. So I'm going to learn some stuff, and I will share some stuff. And anyway, that's a basic terrain. I would suggest making some cool stuff. I bet actually, yeah. Check this out. Just a real quick thing. Let's go ahead and create a new texture layer. Terrain layer, excuse me. Name this one L_rock. Actually, I'm going to say limestone. Alright. I'll rename it. Where are you? There you go, right there. Cool. Alright, so what I want to do here is I want to take that limestone texture I was playing with. Oh, I get all stuck up. Let's do tiles. And then go to the normal. And then do the normal. Sweet. Cool. Click on the terrain, go to paint, add it. Yeah. So watch this. I wouldn't want to use square tiles. I would want to use something more of a hexagon or octagon, something that actually goes multi-directional. Oh no, not that. Yeah, baby. It's so bright too. So there. So now we can make a road, sort of. And you can see why I don't think that a square tile is going to be effective versus a hexagon. There we go. But that looks really kind of cool there, doesn't it? And so here, what I'll do is I'll go into the raise, and I'll go change the opacity real low. Then go back to smooth and kind of soften it up. Of course, we haven't even added grass, vegetation, or any other smaller things. But let's go. Oops, I didn't move the house. Yeah, look at that. So cool. It works. Not fun. It's so fun. Alright, so that's that video. I'll come back with some stuff later. Cheers, guys.